They're Allied. Based in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania and Irvine, California, Allied Universal stands as a titan in the world of security and facility services. This isn't just any company, it's a behemoth in the industry, commanding over 15% of the total U.S. security industry revenue, and the numbers speak volumes. In 2022, Allied Universal reported a staggering revenue of $20.5 billion. They're not just big in the US either. With over 800,000 employees, they have a presence in more than 90 countries around the globe, making them the largest security services firm worldwide. Today, we're diving deep into the history, the controversies, and the public perception that surrounds this industry giant, Allied Universal. Let's wind back the clock and see where it all began. Allied Universal wasn't always the giant it is today. It's a fusion of two companies, Allied Barton and Universal Protection Services among others, with its international operations under the G4S brand. Our journey starts in 1957 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with the founding of Allied Security, which later became Allied Barton. They started modestly, providing contracted security services and related services. Fast forward to 2004, Allied Security expanded its reach by acquiring Security Systems Inc., based in Malden, Massachusetts, and Barton Protective Services from Atlanta, Georgia. This strategic move transformed them into Allied Barton Security Services, the largest American-owned contract security service company at the time. But that's just one half of the story. The other half began in 1965 with Universal Protection Service. Interestingly, they didn't start in security, they were a janitorial company, but by 1969 they had expanded their portfolio to include security services, setting the stage for their eventual merger with Allied Barton. Next, let's dive into the whirlwind of mergers and acquisitions that propelled Allied Universal to the forefront of the security industry. Our story continues with Allied Barton, originally Allied Security, founded back in 1957. The first game changer came in 2000 when SpectaGuard, a company based in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, acquired Allied Security. This merger didn't just change names, it catapulted the company to become the fourth largest and the largest privately held security firm in the US. Then came 2004, a pivotal year. Allied Security made significant moves by acquiring Security Systems Inc. from Malden, Massachusetts, and Barton Protective Services from Atlanta, Georgia. This wasn't just expansion, it was a strategic domination, creating the largest American-owned contract security service company. But Allied didn't stop there. In 2006, they bought Initial Security from San Antonio, Texas for $73.6 million, further expanding their reach. And in 2008, the Blackstone Group, a major player from New York City, acquired Allied Barton. The investment world took notice. Fast forward to 2015 and Allied Barton changed hands again, this time to Wendell, a Paris-based investment firm, for a whopping $1.67 billion. But the real game changer was in 2016 when Allied Barton merged with Universal Services of America, giving birth to Allied Universal. This merger wasn't just big, it was monumental, making Allied Universal the largest security company in North America. And then, on April 5th, 2021, another landmark event. Allied Universal acquired G4S, a move that solidified its position as the largest security company on Earth, the third largest employer in North America, and the seventh worldwide. It's important to note that these major acquisitions are just the tip of the iceberg. Allied Universal has also absorbed numerous regional security contractors, like Wackenhut and U.S. Security Associates, either directly or through its acquisitions. This strategy of growth through acquisition is a key part of Allied Universal's story, illustrating how they've become a towering force in the security world. Now, let's talk about the brighter side of Allied Universal's journey. The company's aggressive strategy of mergers and acquisitions wasn't just for show. It catapulted them into new markets, rapidly increasing their market share and revenue with each deal. This growth isn't accidental. It's the result of calculated moves that have consistently put Allied Universal ahead in the security game. But, as Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility, as well as controversy. According to a detailed article in Time, interviews with 11 guards across 4 states painted a concerning picture. These officers reported being placed in dangerous situations without the necessary equipment or training. There's more. Reports of Allied winning contracts but not having enough staff to fulfill them, and of course miscalculating paychecks. In 2022, a federal class action lawsuit was filed, alleging that Allied pays employees based on scheduled hours rather than actual hours worked. Allied disputed these claims, but later agreed to enter mediation with 27,000 Illinois security guards. The controversies don't end there. Time reviewed 30 civil lawsuits since 2020, highlighting a pattern of failure to protect civilians. One such case involved Eduardo Fernandez, a 76-year-old man who suffered a brutal attack on Miami's Metro Mover train. Despite an Allied guard being present, the guard did not intervene. Court documents revealed the guard was a former Florida Department of Corrections employee charged with battery on a detainee. Another lawsuit in New York involved Julie Trowers, an Allied employee who alleged a male colleague exhibited highly inappropriate behavior during training. The lawsuit claimed that had Allied conducted proper screening, this individual would never have been hired. These cases underscore a systemic issue in hiring and training within the company. Just as an addition, I received the notice of a class action settlement earlier this year and am apparently owed some money due to a lawsuit that occurred during one of my stints with the company. I am eagerly awaiting my $14.53 from the eventual payout. I'll make sure I spend it well. Let's shift gears and talk about the business strategies that have put Allied Universal at the top. Being the biggest security firm globally comes with its perks. They save significantly on back office operations, can offer lower rates, and attract a broad client base. However, this immense size and rapid expansion come with a downside. Industry experts like Rick McCann from Private Officer International suggest that such growth might be contributing to quality issues within the security industry at large. And with global security revenues projected to hit $295 billion by 2026, this is a trend that can't be ignored. McCann's take on it is straightforward. As the industry grows, often the quality doesn't grow with it. It may even decline. Let me take you through my personal experiences with Allied Universal. I joined them back in 2009, moving away from retail. My job at a small college was basic, but it came with minimal pay, an unqualified supervisor, overworked managers, and coworkers who were always on their way out. You can get more details on this in my previous video. Just follow the link. But my story with Allied didn't end there. I had another stint with them when they acquired U.S. Security Associates, where I worked at a private hangar. This time, scheduling issues led to my departure, and just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Allied acquired G4S, where I was working on call. In both these instances, the change in ownership didn't bring any improvements. If anything, it was just new uniforms and more frequent visits from Allied supervisors to check up on us. It felt like no matter where I went in the security world, Allied Universal was already there or not far behind. We continue by delving into the world of turnover rates and employee sentiment at Allied Universal. As a contract security provider with a multitude of sites, experience vary widely based on location, client, and compensation. But here's the kicker. Allied is a private company, making it tough to get an accurate read on their guard turnover rate. During my research, I stumbled across polished articles, many from Allied Universal themselves, surprise, surprise, boasting about their dedication to treating employees well and retaining top talent. But when you listen to the voices of former and current employees, a different story emerges. One Indeed review lays it out plainly. This is a bad company to work for. They sell man hours, often through low bidding on accounts, which means they pay their officers as little as possible to maintain their margins. And it's not just on Indeed. Over on Glassdoor, even the positive reviews are laced with a sense of disappointment. Good people trying to do the right thing, but they all eventually leave. Despite the high turnover among employees, Allied boasts a client retention rate of 98%, according to Fitch Ratings. But this impressive figure doesn't mask the challenges they face due to high turnover and staffing issues. Take Denver, for instance. In 2022, the Denver Post reported that Allied couldn't fill 83 out of 290 contracted positions for regional transit, resulting in hefty fines. In Costa Mesa, California, they lost a jail services contract due to a mass resignation that left only 2 trained jailers for a 32-bed facility. Then there's Santa Monica, California. Property owner John L. spent a year urging the city to replace Allied after a series of incidents in downtown parking lots, including a murder and an attempted carjacking. L's words about the Allied guards paint a grim picture. unarmed, scared, and young. If they see trouble, they stay away. By December, Santa Monica had agreed to bring in a different firm, citing a long-term shortage of officers but making strides in hiring police. Allied Universal needs to be put in context with other industries. It's the third largest private employer in the US, trailing only behind giants like Walmart and Amazon. But it's not just the size that aligns them. Allied shares a similar story of controversies and challenges. Just like its retail counterparts, Allied has faced its share of accusations, unfair labor practices, discrimination based on race, religion, and gender, issues of low pay, poor working conditions, and high turnover. And let's not forget the antitrust concerns due to their sheer size and dominance in the security sector. Their massive scale makes them seem almost invincible. This is a company that's not just playing the game, it's changing the rules. Post the acquisition of G4S, its closest competitor, Allied Universal has virtually monopolized the private security contractor market, and the ambition doesn't stop there. I wouldn't be surprised if they're eyeing other major players like GardaWorld and Securitas for future acquisitions. These kinds of strategic moves are likely being discussed in boardrooms as we speak, further cementing their position as an industry behemoth. As we wrap up, let's take a step back and look at the big picture. Allied Universal, from its humble beginnings as a small security company, has evolved into a towering Goliath in the industry through a relentless series of mergers and acquisitions. Yes, its journey has been marked by a fair share of controversies, and likely this trend will continue, but in the grand scheme of things, Allied only needs to weather the storm. There's always a new client looking to save on security services, and always new employees willing, albeit begrudgingly, to endure less than ideal conditions for a paycheck. So, should you consider working for them? My take is this: like most security contractors, it's best to proceed with caution. Assess each opportunity based on pay, benefits, work schedule, and overall job comfort. While Allied Universal might not always offer the best conditions, they often have openings due to high turnover, making it a potential starting point for those new to the industry. Use it as a stepping stone to gain experience and move on to better opportunities, whether it's another contract security job or ideally an in-house position. And that's it for this deep dive into Allied Universal. Have you worked for Allied or any of its acquired companies? I love to hear your stories and experiences, so drop a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more guard guides, and as always, be safe.